As you know, ceasefire has been the most common call during the war in Gaza, and various communities have been calling towards a ceasefire, have been advocating for one. And recently, a new one has appeared in connection with the New Year countdowns. To explain that campaign, I've invited Anwar Oleolo. He's the campaign organizer based in the UK, and he will tell us what the campaign is about and what they're planning to do. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Anwar Olielo, for coming to the interview. Please explain to us what the campaign is about.
Yes, so the hashtag countdown to ceasefire. The countdown to ceasefire campaign is a global campaign. It's calling for individuals to come out to New Year's Eve celebrations in their locality, and in the countdown to 2024, to instead of proclaiming Happy New Year, to proclaim ceasefire now, and this global cry, including over 41 countries, could potentially be the largest continuous call for a ceasefire ever
Mm-hmm.
recorded. This well, obviously our mission is quite self-explanatory. We want to ensure that a permanent and immediate ceasefire is in place in Gaza. Uh, this is absolutely necessary in order for a humanitarian corridor to be established, which will allow crucial aid to be let in. It will, firstly and foremostly, really, ensure that the atrocities committed against civilians will finally stop. And it will allow for the communities who have been affected, who have been divided and been damaged by the effects of the last 2.5 months of bombardment, they'll finally be able to rebuild and to heal.
Yeah, I mean, since the war in Gaza started, I mean, our hearts have been broken. I mean, we've seen a lot of carnage, and it's not a pleasant thing to see. Various communities have been calling for a ceasefire, and that has been one of the most hopeful moments, I could say, since the war started. Is there any reason why you specifically chose this time? What is its special significance? Why have you chosen this time of the year?
Well, it's definitely significant, and it's interesting that you mentioned the idea of hope because that's part of the reason why we picked this date. The new year it symbolizes hope. It symbolizes the future. It symbolizes the hope for change. It symbolizes it symbolizes the uh, sort of advancing, moving on. But for people of Gaza, the first step in a brighter future, the first step in a future they can have hope for, is to ensure that before anything else, that there is a permanent and immediate ceasefire, because this is the first step to preserving life. This is the first step in preventing atrocities. This is the first step in ensuring that necessary, crucial, life-saving aid, basic food. We saw the IPC report, an IPC report recently showed that 300,000 children are at risk of dying from preventable illnesses as a result of food insecurity. With a ceasefire in place, we can mitigate that. So, in order for us to hope for a future where that can be a reality, uh, all of us need to come out wherever our localities are, or wherever those New Year celebrations are taking place, or even if you can't come out at home, record a video proclaiming ceasefire now. But this is the reason why we've chosen this specific date, because it represents hope, and we hope for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
Uh, I mean, we have seen until now various, I mean, scores of ceasefire attempts until now. Diplomats have tried. The United Nations has repeatedly tried, even despite the fact that more than 100 of its workers have been targeted and attacked in the attacks. Various governments have demanded for a ceasefire. It still has not worked. What do you hope to get out of this campaign? What results are you hoping for?
Well, it's sad that we have. the action, let's say, or inaction in some cases of uh, political institutions across the globe hasn't produced the results we wanted. But we as a as global citizens, we shouldn't let any party's action or inaction drive what we do. We need to make our voice heard. We know that we are the silent majority, and so in creating this global 24-hour uh, declaration that we demand a ceasefire, we send the a sort of clear message to any government that claims to represent its citizens that going into 2024, this is what they must do because this is what their citizens want. If not for it being the right thing to do, the we must protect civilian life in Gaza, which is paramount and is the core of our message. Then they should acknowledge that their citizens want this. Global citizens want this, and they want the people of Gaza to have a future where they are protected from bombardment, where they are allowed to have access to the basic things necessary for life, and where they are safe. And this all comes as a result of ceasefire.
Have you been able to reach a global audience as a whole? Because as you've said and mentioned it repeatedly, you're reaching for a global audience. But have you been able to get many other countries involved? How big is your the campaign as a whole?
Absolutely. So our campaign has accrued more than 41 signatories. Let's say there are from New Zealand to Tanzania to France to the United Kingdom to Turkey. There are, and this really just reflects how basic, how fundamental, how universal our message is. The message that we're sending, the demand that we're making, is one which is it's it's very clear, and it's it's something which can't be disagreed upon, regardless of your political or religious or any other background. Which is as simple as this: the people of Gaza uh, should be protected. And the only
Hmm.
step, the first step to that becoming a reality is through a permanent and immediate ceasefire, which allows the basics of life to uh, be able to work.
Oh, that's good. There is one very important question to be addressed. Why should the rest of the people care about Gaza? Why should people care what happens to Gaza? This is holiday season. People want to enjoy, and you're telling them you have to somehow show solidarity with the people of Gaza. If anybody asked why should we care about Gaza, what would your answer be?
Well, there's not actually much convincing that I have to do because, as we've seen through different demonstrations throughout our capital and here in London and capital and population centers across the world, the overwhelming sentiment is that the communities across the world don't want to see don't want to see these images coming out of Gaza. The communities are all over the world are calling for a ceasefire already. We saw the United Nations vote was 153. That's the majority of majority of the UN member states. It's clear that our voices are more or less unified in the one for a permanent and immediate ceasefire, which is why at a time where uh, the globe is collectively looks towards hope, let's also unite on a collective cause for the protection of the people of Gaza through a permanent and immediate ceasefire.
That's a very good message, and this war has really bled our hearts. I can say the amount of death that we have witnessed altogether is very heartbreaking. Personally, I've been very much affected by this. I've done a lot of videos on the subject on my channel, and I'd like to thank you again. I hope your activism is successful, and somehow a ceasefire happens in that area of the world. And let's see this Gaza kids happy, because for the last 2 months it has been a continuous bombardment that has never been witnessed. I mean, prior to this, and I hope peace comes to that area. I hope ceasefire happens. I wish you good luck in your campaign, and I'll be supporting that campaign. Thank you for coming to this interview, and good luck.
Thank you.